first thing women notice? Your face. That's why you got to take care of it. Simple things like getting a haircut, grooming your face, and brushing your teeth is important. But there's one thing guys miss and that women always notice. It's when a guy isn't taking care of his skin. That's why I'm so excited to have T. Shanley as a sponsor of today's video. T. Shanley simplifies the process of taking care of your skin. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing you don't. Seriously, I don't think some of you believe me when I tell you how much implementing a quality skincare routine will improve your confidence in all aspects of your life. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: daily face wash, exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with an SPF 20 and a PM moisturizer. But and to make it dead simple for you guys, they provide an instruction card in every box that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. But because T just sponsoring this video, they're offering you an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description and get 40% off your first skincare system and free gift. Plus, as a member, you'll get 20% off for life. By the way, one of their new gift options is a silicone body scrubber, which is a $20 value and a complete game changer. Once you use this, you'll never go back to a regular loofah ever again. So don't wait any longer. Click the first link in the description to start your skincare journey today. How y'all doing? Welcome to King Talk. Let me go ahead and introduce you. We got red food and white scoops, yeah, any food, solo, raw, me myself. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Can you hear me okay? All right.
Yes, sir.
That sound kind of dry, man. You had a rough day today? Yeah. Some feedback. I don't know why I'm hearing all this crazy stuff, man. But good to see you guys, man. Happy Tuesday, per usual. Shout out to the sponsor, T. Shanley Uncomplicated Skincare for Men. You get 40% off along with a free gift. And if you become a member, you get 20% off for life. That link is in the description. This is for men skincare. It's not too late to get right. Summertime is right around the corner. This is the time where you should be working out, making sure that body is fit and making sure your skin is in order. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. What's going on, Miss Precious? How you doing? She says, good evening, King. Show her in chat. We got Jerry Tolliver. What's going on? What's going on, Dale Matthews? If you are catching us on a replay, make sure you also hit the like button. So we're going to go ahead and get into it, man. It's a lot of conversations that happen around in the space, and one I thought would be interesting tonight would be provide and protect. Provide and protect. I'm curious to hear you guys' perspectives on this. I titled this Men Only Protect and Provide for Their Dream Girls. So I'm going to play this clip. I'm going to get you guys' opinion about it, and we're going to do a deep dive and see if we can unpack this whole protect and provide. Sounds okay with everybody? All right, let's do it.
Creators say this, and I don't remember who it was, but she said the reason why you don't get princess treatment or you don't get treated the way that you want to get treated is because you're not his dream girl.
A man is always going to go above and beyond for his dream girl. And if he's not going above and beyond for you, clearly you're not his dream girl. Because even if that man doesn't have it, trust me, you'll be surprised how quick he's going to find a way to make sure he does have it.
I feel like most guys are providers. They just don't know it yet until they meet their dream girl, including that 50-50 guy. He'll want to be with her. He'll want to give her the best things. He'll want to take care of her, except for unhealed men. And here's the difference. You have men who are healed, who are balanced in their masculine and feminine energies, who knows how to treat a woman well, who wants to take care of her and provide her the life that she deserves. So he shows up ready to offer that. Great. And then you have guys who knows what she's worth and he really, really, really wants to be that for her, but he's just not quite where he needs to be in life yet. So he respectfully steps back and goes to work on himself. She is still his dream girl. He still wants to be with her, but he respects her enough to know that she deserves the best and he can't give her the best right now. But it doesn't stop him from dating other women who aren't his dream girl, which means he doesn't care as much, he's not paying as much attention, and he's not putting in as much effort. This is where I see most 50-50 guys, or guys who are really reluctant with their acts of service, but they switch up real quick for the right girl. And then you have unhealed, impulsive, shiny object syndrome men who know that they can barely take care of themselves, who are lonely and just looking for companionship, who don't want to or can't provide. They're just looking to see what they can get out of the relationship. They will want to be with their dream girls immediately because being with her makes him feel better about himself. I will never understand men like this, how they can take such an amazing woman and drag her through the mud to be with him, instead of wanting to work on himself, to level up and step up so he can be with her. It's like he wants to drag her down to his level, use her, deplete her of all of her energy, and when she's no longer the woman that she was, he leaves. Stay away from men like that. They will ruin your life.
I'm going to tell you something real quick. If you're wondering whether he likes you or not, this is very simple. If you are his dream girl, he's not going to talk about going 50-50 with you. If you are his dream girl, he's not going to talk about going 50-50 with you. He's not going to try and split hairs. He's not going to ask what you bring to the table, top the table, under the table, side of the table. He's not going to ask any of that. He already sees your value because you are his dream girl. You've ticked all the boxes and he's like, oh my God, what do I do to get her, to impress her, to be with her? He's just going to be wanting to do for you. That's just the formula, and that's the best way it works. If he's asking you all that questions, he's compromised in his head and he's wondering what you can do for him in exchange for his compromise.
So you know how apparently guys don't settle down with like the woman that they love, but rather the woman that is on their lap at the right time when they choose to settle down? They say. Well, if you want to know when that will be, you have to look at their favorite ex. So the ex that they loved, that like they really thought was like the one that they got away, like the one that actually broke their heart. Is that favorite ex married? Are they about to get married? Because the second that they get married, give it about like 2 months. That's when he's going to choose to settle down and be like, oh my God, like I found the love of my life. No, he didn't. He realized that the favorite ex is out of the market forever, or at least, you know, hopefully. And he's like, it's time to go. Because if favorite ex did it, now I have to do it. Tell me if I'm wrong, but tell me if I'm right.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it, man. We heard Sarah's a young lady talking about protect and provide, how men protect and provide for their dream girls. Is this a true thing? Let's just open it up with that, and then we'll start to unpack. Do you think that men protect and provide for a particular woman? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with you first, Marcus.
I think those women have a fantasy in their mind about what they think men think in their head. I think even if it wasn't his dream woman, if he decided to get in a relationship with her and he got a bag, he's gonna take care of her. So I don't think that's really got much to do with the fact that, you know what I'm saying, somebody, oh, if he love you enough, he gonna go get a job work and figure out a way to get all the money to keep you in his life. That shit sound like tricking with extra steps. Like that sound like, yeah, if he love you, he'll buy you. Like, bitch, just sell the pussy to who you want to sell it to, and then go live your life. If you thinking about equating you being with a nigga to you getting some money, that's sex trafficking or at least solicitation. You know what? She's secondhand solicited because she's not even selling her box. She's trying to convince other women how to sell their box to the highest bidder and equating that to love. So yeah, I don't know. That to me, that's not how that worked. I think that that X thing though, that might have been not right, but it's something to that. Like if you broke up with an ex before and you really had strong feelings, like with me, it got me to work on myself to become better within that year I took to myself, you know what I'm saying, to be single and just get the kinks out the armor and make sure I was doing everything right for the next process. So the next person I was ready, well, I ain't gonna say I was ready to settle down before I met her, but I was more in a space where I could settle down because I understood the mistakes I made in the previous relationship, how I could improve on that. So I think it's something to that, but that goes back to the experience argument of the more experience men get as they find out what they want and how to deal with it and make it easier for the relationship to move forward. But yeah, them women just giving bad advice. They just giving bad advice.
All right, I'm gonna go to Trev. Trev Smooth. Do you think men only protect for the woman of their dreams?
No. There was a lot of different ideas going on over there, and I don't think some of them were on the right track, but absolutely none of them hit the nail on the head. A lot of them, they're trying to make it seem as if it's some type of monolith going on. That's not really it. And then they talked about the unhealed man, and I don't even think so. There's some men who never really got any serious trauma. They're just assholes, man. You can't. It don't matter. Like, there is no specific woman who's gonna take them out of their mode, right? And I think that most men, when we do things just for ourselves mostly, right? What we have to understand is that humans are amazingly selfish, and even when we are doing things for others, it's because of the way we believe on our own how we are supposed to treat people. There's very few men, well, I can't say very few, but most of us, and definitely not the sound man, are going to treat a woman based on them being her dream girl. Most of us understand about duty. We take their based on how we see duty. There's
Is it just me or is he in the Matrix?
I think you're good.
Am I
now.
messing up?
No, you good now.
It was messing up?
Yeah.
All right. My bad.
You good now.
Yeah, it was for probably like the last 15 seconds of you talking.
Damn, that was a long time. All right, let me rewind that a bit then. So basically, men, we're not behaving the same way, right? There's different types of men, and it's based on how we feel. It's not like a female is really gonna change my mode, right? There are some men who get gaga over females, right? And they might treat a certain one or a certain type of way because they don't really know any better. But men who have their stuff together and are really able to take care of women generally do it according to how we see fit, how we supposed to treat our woman, especially once we decide to marry her, right? If we decide that we're gonna wed this woman, then she might not be our dream girl. Most of us don't marry our dream girl, right? We marry a person who is suitable to be a wife. We could love and adore them, but it doesn't mean that that's necessarily our dream girl, because a dream girl is what a fantasy, right? And most of us are not going to run into a fantasy. There's always some types of choices and trade-offs that we're going to have to deal with. It's not going to be a perfect woman or even close to it. So, but we're still going to treat her like gold just because we understand that's our wife. And that's how men express their love. And for the most part, our love is, I can't say unconditional, but the conditions are limited, right? It's not very much that we have to, as long as she is cooperating, as long as she is doing what she can, then we're going to love the hell out that woman and take care of her no matter what, just because of our duty.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Viz. Do men protect and provide for their dream girls?
Yeah, that was a lot to unpack there. I think the 50-50 conversation is definitely dragged out. Women got to let go of that thought process that if a man brings up 50-50, then he doesn't love you or whatever. In this current day and age, just being alive is expensive. So the average man, which the average woman is going to end up having, you're going to split the bills. You know, that's just being realistic. Now, as far as with the dream girl, I think anybody that sees the value in something, they're going to invest the time, the effort into it. So just like Trev said, any man, typically, if they're a good man, a solid man, they're going to protect and provide by default. Now, would they be more open to investing and giving more into it? that depends on how valuable it is that they see that this woman is, and how cooperative she is with the plan. So I would say I would say yes to the question that they do. But again, I mean, just like Trev said, your dream girl, uh, that could easily be a fantasy, because the woman that you fall in love with, the woman that you wed, you'll see we all have flaws. At some point, you'll see those flaws, and once you accept them for that flaw, then is that still considered your dream girl? So I'm kind of on the fence with that concept, but I get what they're trying to say. But I think that any person, any man, if they see the value in that woman, then yeah, they're going to protect and provide as much as they can.
All right. Go ahead, Solo. Men only protect and provide for their dream girls. What you think about that?
Yeah, that just watching those videos is so funny to me. How women think, and it was something consistent through those videos too. All of them was a certain type of color, but that's another thing. Um, I think men protect and provide for themselves, and any woman coming into that situation gonna be a recipient of that. I live by the idea that a man should be able to take care of himself before you should even have a woman. So the conversation of protecting and providing, for instance, in my house, don't even necessarily come up, because you being with me is your lifestyle is a byproduct of you being with me, right? This is how I take care of myself. And I think if we looked at it like that, it wouldn't necessarily be a conversation thing. Women, you come into an already put together situation. So it's not the fact that I'm protecting and providing for my dream girl. I'm this is my life. And the benefits of being with me is that you get to now share and enjoy this life with me. And it's just a byproduct of you being with me. You get what I'm saying? That makes sense, brother. And that's just something that I live by. So I never really had the protecting and providing conversation, the going 50-50 conversation, like none of that stuff. It's a byproduct of you just being with me. Not a whole dream girl conversation. I'm gonna stay out of it because I'm with mine. I won't stay on a public platform. I'm not with my dream girl because I'm smart. But yeah, I think brothers do. You can get a brother to go as far as you want him to go when you put a fantasy in front of him, right? Look at the lottery. How much do we spend on the lottery? Look at the casino, right? How much do we spend in the casino? And I'll just leave it there.
All right. Go ahead, Kenny P. What are your thoughts about that? Men only protect and provide for the dream girls.
Peace to the panel. So, could you just imagine sitting across from those ladies on your dime as they tell you their requirements of what they want in their life and the expectations that you need to meet before you can qualify for those women? The most atrocious thing that I can hear in my ears, a woman says, I can come as I am, and I'm not doing 50-50 or nothing. So that means I'm not supposed to vet you. You don't even know how to cook a hot dog, but you know how to use words like give me and want. I'm not supposed to inspect what I expect. I'm supposed to just take a blind leap of faith with you. I think not. I think not one man up here, after getting their lumps from going head over heels for a female and finding out that she wasn't your princess with the glass slipper, we learned hard lessons. We failed forward. To hear women like that talk, I think those three women, if you took sick, they wouldn't wipe your ass. They would leave you and take what they can and go on to the next person. That needs to be dispelled by the women in large amounts, because we have a lot of lonely ladies with laundry lists of things that they said prerequisites were for. Now they're with the other rich women sipping wine and playing with their roses. Men are the cookie. You are their queen. When can we get the superficial out the way and get back to the natural things? Why do I have to show you my FICO score before you see the man inside? See if I'm worth your time. See my ambitions. A dollar does not come before my dignity. But guess what? With conditional submission, they would expect you to put your life on the line for them. They would expect you to put them in Gucci and gold. And a lot of women don't want to acknowledge this, and I'm not beating down women. You come in as takers. How many women come to you and give? Let me cook you a hot plate. Let me rub your feet. Let me find out how your day is going. Let me make it safe for you to open up and show your insecurities to me. And I promise to protect you. That's pure hyperbole to my ear when I hear the milk talk like that to us. I digress.
Go ahead, Hank. Men only protect and provide for their dream girls. Your thoughts about it? I'm mute, just so you know.
Say it again, because you kind of cut out on my end. I'm sorry, Jay.
Yeah, men only protect and provide for their dream girls. That's what they were saying on those videos. What are your thoughts about it?
Look, I protect and provide for my dream girl because for the woman who I made and blessed with my last name, she is my dream girl. Look, women like that we need. Those are teachable moments. You know, women like that we also need to get our goddamn rocks off. Because that's all they're good for. Ladies, I'm going to provide you with 20 goddamn minutes. And I'm going to protect myself while doing it. That's what my protection provision for those type of women. They're not good for nothing else. They just talk. Fill their mouth up with something special. I'm not going to go into details. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let them kids go where they need to go. But as far as what them women was talking about, man, look, I'll tell you one thing I didn't hear them talk about. What about the provision of a man has to do for a woman to provide her mental stability? See, y'all, some of these women not worry about the mental because they know they crazy as hell. They off the goddamn rocker. So they don't want you to provide for them mentally. They just want them financials. They just want them dead presidents. They just want that lettuce know that your mail's all the way right and good is going to be delivered on the 1st and the 15th. That's what they want. But ladies, you need to be looking for a man who's going to provide some type of mental stability, who's going to protect your mental. When you go to work and you come home or you dealing with whatever is going on in the world, they're going to be able to talk you down, console you, get you back in the right space mentally. Most men who are real men, who what we consider men, they're going to provide what you need financially, right? Because they also will make sure they well taken care of. So that's not going to be a problem. And any man worth his salt will do what he got to do to protect you. Even these weak, frail ass dudes, they'll find a way to get a legalized firearm to do what they got to do to make sure ain't nobody going to run up in their house or run up on them. They could do that. But ladies, that's not what y'all really looking for. Y'all just looking strictly for them dollar bills. I understand. Everybody wants some dead presidents in the goddamn pocket. But you got to look beyond that. So as a man, I also got to make sure my wife can provide and protect me as well. It's not a one-way street. I know, ladies, y'all think it's just a one-way street. It's all about what y'all get. Always looking for your handouts. But ladies, as men, that's why they're asking these questions. What do you bring to the table? There's a reason why they want to know. Because they want to know, are you going to be able to provide a hot meal? You understand? I shouldn't have to DoorDash in order to have lunch when I go to work tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I'll be going to the refrigerator. Oh, man, baby girl, put me some leftovers together. Shit, I'm good. She provides some nourishment for me. She wants to be well fed, well taken care of. So I go out here and conquer the world for her and bring home that money that I need to provide this roof for her. You know what I'm saying? Keep these lights on, making sure it's warm at night, make sure the gas tank is filled. That takes money. She gonna provide all of that for me in her special way. You know what I'm saying? Making sure I'm good. Like I think my man Kenny said, how was your day? You know what I'm saying? Make sure my clothes are ready, ironed and taken care of and pressed. That's her way of producing and providing and provision for me. That's the way her protection. Making sure I'm well sexually taken care of. Making sure that my balls are empty and well pleased. So one of these other stragglers won't come along and try to roll up and get what she has. That's her form of protection. So, ladies, yeah, it's a two-way street. Make sure y'all do what y'all got to do. And please believe me, you find a real one, he going to do what he need to do as a man, and he going to provide. All this 50-50, I don't believe in that shit. I'm all about one pot. I've been saying, I'm going to say it to the day I die. I'm all for one pot. Ain't no her money. No, we coming together as one. I bless you with my last name. Let's come together with everything. Don't hold that paper back. For what you doing that for? We come together as one. Let's do that. I'll leave it there.
All right. Well, I don't know if you really want to. You want to respond to this, so I can just.
I kind of missed it, man. I just want to say what up, good brothers. You know what I'm saying? You did.
Yeah, it was good.
That's all, man. I'll jump in on the next one.
All right.
Right
So I do want to unpack this whole protect and provide thing, right? So let's just start off with dating, courting, however you want to look at it. Like, what does protecting and providing looks like when you are first dating? What does that look like? Is it in full throttle? Is it a little bit example of it? Like, how does that look? Because there seems to be some situations where women expect certain things from a man, and some men are not just willing to do that on the front end unless it's leading to marriage. So I'm just curious to pick your brains to figure out what does protect and provide look like in the courting phase. Anybody can go first.
So for me, protect and provide, it comes within the relationship. So I'm not just randomly out spending money on, I wouldn't, like if I was single, I wouldn't be randomly just spending money on women, paying bills. And like, I know bruises sometimes be like, walk up to him and be like, shit, your rent due? Trying to get some head. Like, I can't see myself doing that. Like, I've never been that person. So for me, you earn the relationship, and it's like dating and shit. Like, I'm not taking nobody I'm not in a real relationship with to spend real money on. No vacations. I'm not just none of that shit. If we're not in a relationship, I'm not trying to spend my bread on you like that. So once we in the actual relationship, and I subscribe to what he thought process, we got some thought processes. The one pot, like just deposit today a $60K checking account, and it's in both the accounts. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't my money; it's our money under that act. So yeah, right. I think providing, but it's not just necessarily money. So providing also encompasses emotional stability, safe space, feeling of adequacy. So if you with a woman and she don't feel beautiful because she don't think you see her that way, or you don't compliment her, that's a form of not providing intimacy. The same thing with no affectionate touch and none of that stuff, you're not providing intimacy. So you might be failing on providing from that level. If you constantly letting stuff from outside the house come into the home and you upset about that and you taking out that, you're not providing or protecting the space within that home and a piece of tranquility from inside of there. So it's layers to it, right? Of course, you expected to physically protect your family, like to the death. Like, there's no question about that. That should be on the table. You know, you should be sacrificing, like, hey, whatever happened, I'm gonna make sure they good. If it costs me my life, that's just the cost. You know, that's how I feel about the whole protect portion. But it's other things that encompass that. So it's not just money and it's not just violence for provide and protect. It's a wide gambit of things that fall under that umbrella. And to touch on all of them, nobody will be perfect, but you should just at least attempt to assist where you see your woman is lacking that, and vice versa, where she see the man lacking that. So yeah.
All right, Marcus, I know that you are married, but at what time frame would you say that you turned it up a little bit? Because was it a time that a woman had to kind of prove her loyalty, or was it a trial period, or just were you in automatic go mode once y'all hopped into a relationship?
It is a point in proving the loyalty. So I'm observant, even if I'm not saying that, I'm kind of like watching, you know what I'm saying? So I'm seeing how she is thinking about me in little ways, like, oh, you going out and I ain't ask you for no turtles or something random, like the little chocolate. I ain't asked you for no turtles. You know I like them, and you just then added it to your list of things you gonna buy weekly and make sure I get them. Or I be smoking blacks, right? So she'll hide Black and Miles in the house. If I run out of black, it'd be like, here you go. Like, damn, I needed that. I was just about to start nicking, and you came in the nick of time with a pack hidden in the shoe. Like just thoughtful shit. Like, you constantly and consistently are thoughtful. And with me, I'm not dating a selfish woman. Like I never, like I will fuck a selfish woman, but I would never date a selfish woman. And like I tend to lean toward very selfless, caring, giving women that give so much of themselves. You got to step in and stop it. Like, hey. That's part of my protection level. Like, I'm not gonna let you go that far on the limb, so you give more than you actually got. So that's the type of, when I be talking about pure submission, it's a specific subset of women that I more so would deal with. I believe you can get any woman to that point, but the ones that come already like that is very pre-programmed for a positive relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Solo. We're talking about protection and providing in a dating/courting phase. Was that
Man, I think, man, Lauren Hill said it best. It could all be so simple, but we rather make it hard. I had these conversations all the time, and I think people go into dating. Um, it's too complicated, man. It's too much to think about. People coming in, like people go into dating fully armed, right? Trying to do something intimate. So now we got to pull back all these different layers. I got to take off these gloves. I got to take off these helmets, take off these mitts, take off these knee pads because I'm fully protected. I'm fully guarded. Going into what's supposed to be a intimate courtship, right? So when I go into it, I go into it open. Like when I met my wife, I was just on some chill stuff. Like I'm not guarded. I'm open. I'm me. You know what I'm saying? And if you fumble the ball, you fumble the ball. You get what I'm saying? That's just on you. But I'm not finna do myself a disservice. And that's what I'm watching men and women do. They do themselves a disservice going into the dating field extremely guarded and wonder why it don't work out. I submit to you all, maybe it's not the fact that that wasn't a good person or you wasn't a good fit. It's the fact that you showed up your guarded self, and a person after a month or 2 months of dealing with this persona that you put up just got tired of trying to fight through the BS. Just be yourself. Don't try to be guarded. So when I started dating my wife, it was just like, if this what we doing, this what we doing. I'm not worried about the pocketbook again. You know, my situation was different from a lot of other guys, so money wasn't never an issue for me. So I'm not counting the dollars that I'm spending. We finna have a good time. I'm doing it for the memory. You see what I'm saying? The memory more valuable than the money. So we just out, we kicking it. If we gonna shoot out of town, we gonna shoot out of town. If she take care of something, oh, okay, I see that. That's what's up. But I'm not saying, okay, now we done had this great time. Now we're finna have this awkward, weird conversation about who gonna pay the bill. Are we going Dutch? That's just so lame to me, bro. Like, just just enjoy each other's company. That's what people need to do. Disarm yourself of all of these standards that you put in place about dating and just date. Just have a good time. Show the person who you are. Be open to receiving who they is without these long list of criteria and see how it works out. If it don't work out, all right, cool. no foul on the play. It just didn't work. I'm gonna keep it moving. You keep it moving. But like, I think a lot of people miss their person because they come into the game fully guarded. You got all this stuff on. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. You gotta do this, and the person get tired of that. And that could have been the one, but you just let her walk away because you don't want to buy a meal. Like, that's weird, bro.
Yeah,
So
I
It's
think that
weird.
if we overly complicated, and I'm always stand on this. I think that it's important to develop a friendship with this person that you're interested in, because as we get to learn each other, everything is transparent. If me and Marcus go out and kick it just on some fella shit, I'm not finna be pump faking like I'm somebody that I'm not, and you know what I'm saying, and vice versa. We just here to enjoy ourselves, to enjoy the space. We can, you know what I'm saying, chop it up with no expectations from it all. And if something evolves from it, then now we got something. Now the investment isn't as heavy as to where I feel like I done blew $1,000 on this broad and I don't even like her. As soon as she started talking, I'm like, man, this bitch stupid. You avoid all of that just simply by having a conversation without making it difficult, without putting all of the standards that's being put on it, because it is simple. So I agree with Solo. We see too many expectations being put on that most people, especially women, I can guarantee you, those women, especially if they aren't married, they will go for a guy that's talking 50-50. They'll go for a guy that's going against that goes against everything that they just spoke on, if they like that person, if they feel that they can invest into that person. So once we get away from that fake false rhetoric, everything will be so easy. And that's why I stand by it. It is easy to find a good woman.
okay, so I kind of agree with you, Solo, as far as how we should behave. I always advise people to completely be themselves because it's a lot more sustainable for you to be able to do that. Because you're not gonna be, if you a slob, just be a slob in the beginning. If you are if you like to go out loud in the beginning. Whatever it is that you do, because it's easy to sustain that. I could never see myself being disingenuous. Like if I met somebody, it's just not what it is. But as far as like the protecting and the providing, I do see and understand why sometimes men may hold back a little bit. They might just dial it back because I know women personally who are plate pirates, who literally will go ahead and game a dude, put their best foot forward just to get 3 meals out of the day. They'll go on several dates per day just so they don't have to come out of pocket for anything. And the game looks the same. Just like I say, how the guys' game look the same, whether they trying to just smash or whether they trying to wife them. A lot of times the game look the same, and it's hard to identify. So with these females, sometimes they just like that, and they know how to play the game. They know how to say the right thing. Some of these women, they real powerful with the tongue too. You know what I mean? It is what it is. No pun intended. But they know how to finesse men. And if you are just over here just open, then sometimes you're going to get dogged. You're going to get played out, and you're going to end up in a hole. A lot of these dudes don't have a bunch of bread to go on a date. Your average dude is not going to be able to date 2-3 times a week. It isn't. And some of these females are expecting that, right? But it's expensive to sit down at a nice restaurant. You're going to be spending at least $200 easily, right? And I could pretty much derail your budget for that month, right? If you live in check to check, which 2/3 of Americans are. So you kind of have to be, and I hate for it to be like that, but it's a reality because most humans don't go into a situation with good faith. If you don't protect yourself, then you're probably going to be taken advantage of. And I try to teach men, but most men don't have the discernment to be able to figure out exactly what these females are thinking and how they're moving and what to expect next and what their true intentions are. A lot of times you will be that dude that's going out here and you're going to be a lick. Unfortunately, I hate it, but that's the world that we live in. I watch it happen to people. I end up consulting dudes who are battling these type of issues. And I know women personally who practice this, and they playing a game and they ain't playing fair. They playing dirty. I promise you, it's a scary thought sometimes when you get to see both sides of it and see how they mesh together. I understand why some people are cynical about dating.
Well, Trey, I think you should point out what the telltale signs are of women that do that, because
Yes,
I think
we think alike, bro. I promise you, we be on the same page.
because I would say that is clear. It would be clear and evident if this woman is only there just to use you for what it is that you have, just off of the request that she may make. If you do say, hey, let's go out to dinner, and you want to take her to Fridays, or maybe you want to go a scale up and take her to Bonefish Grill. Is she complaining about it? You know what I'm saying? Is she dropping little hints that she's not enjoying herself, or is she gonna clown you? I think that it's imperative for us to pay attention to those. And that goes back to the timeline that we were talking about. Are you right off the cuff taking her to Ocean Prime, or you trying to flex and you taking her straight to SK, and you know you don't have it like that? Then you setting yourself up for failure. So if it's genuine, it don't matter if I take you to Fridays. We're gonna have a ball. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna enjoy this frozen margarita, you know what I'm saying, that costs $10.
Yeah.
So, Trev, let me ask you a quick question. You just gave a whole breakdown of the angst, how you coach the professional women out here, the plate pirates, paraphrasing what you said. So I'm going to ask you, being a man's man, because is it easy out there to find a good woman, a one that you can go all the way with?
For the average man, absolutely not. Of course, if you built yourself up to be, that top 10%, then you're going to have a larger pool of women. So the likelihood of you having access to one is greater. But the average man, which are most of us, if we look at the bell curve, hell no, it's not easy.
So to be light, to be soft on it, you can't belabor a point, then go into the comments and get whooped for something that does not work. You got tapped on the hand before, and you revisit like it's easy to read a woman. There are women that train to look at your pocket, know your FICO score, know what you're dealing with, work you over. We see time and time again, high level to low level examples of women that have you in their phone as lunch because they know how to play to your weaknesses and shake their ass right in front of you and hypnotize you. Before you know it, that's like that fine stripper. Remember Diamond from Players Club? I'm going to get it all. You're going to be down the link trying to explain how you're going to pay your rent. Not all women are like that. A lot of women are in their own ways. You understand?
Well, that sounds like a gullible man to me. It don't matter what level or tier you think that you're on.
Okay,
you're just
so I'm glad you respond, Viz. You never been worked by a woman?
No.
In your life?
No.
Carry it.
No. And for the record, is 8 men on the panel. I don't know, JR, if you want to share what your status is.
So Viz,
it's at least 6 men right now on the panel out of the 8 that have good women. So for us to tell the world
Short
that
sample
it's
size.
difficult,
We're not gonna do that.
I'm just
Short
calling it out.
sample
Is what
size.
is what
We're
it
not
is.
gonna do that.
All right, y'all, come on. Let's make sure we flow this conversation because people
Yes,
are
sir.
watching.
Yes, sir.
Let's make sure we stay on.
All I'm saying is, I would admonish you to stop doing that. The numbers don't fit your equation. We went over it last time, and you offend those that work very hard, that need coaches like Trev, maybe like Marcus White and other people to walk them through things that's unseen. It's not easy to find a woman that ain't gonna destroy you. Stop putting that myth out there that you can go to the corner store and find your forever. You have to vet that much more. It's not back in the days where you meet a girl in the field, she picking yams and she barefoot. Hey there. And then you go to her father in court. It's a whole different ballgame of complexities, non-traditional women that do the 80-20, that get in their own way, that have prerequisites like the first 3 we saw. The breadcrumbs are all around you. Why won't you eat them?
I just want to say, culturally in Chicago, the Bay in Chicago got similar cultures, and most of the time the men look at tricking with a disdain here. So culturally, it'll prevent you from doing certain things just based off of like how our culture is. Like I don't like the song "Pope Pimp" came from Chicago. You know, like when we almost like for example, in my 20s, instead of a date, I bring a chick to the block. I order a jumbo shrimp from J&J for me and a 50-piece wing for the guys and a gallon of Hennessy. And we'd be out there all night. If she couldn't hang out and kick it on the block with us, then I wasn't going. And I'm talking about the highest class to whatever. That was kind of like my prerequisite. Then once we was in a relationship, we could move on to going and doing all that other stuff. But that intro, you're gonna have to come kicking with me with the guys out here. I ain't gonna lie to you.
My intro, you kicked it with me at the tattoo shop. You kicked me at the tattoo shop. Like you pulling up, you bringing paper towels or whatever. Like we chilling, you know, and that's why I'm doing the vetting. That's what I'm doing. Most of you guys that's gonna be watching this, y'all do too much looking and not enough listening. You gotta let them talk. Let them talk. I put my woman in an environment to all you got to do is talk to me, and I'm gonna listen. I'm not trying to tell you about what I got going on. I'm not trying to tell you how much money I got. I'm not finna over talk about myself. Most dudes over talk, trying to sell yourself. She's in your presence. You've already sold. Now listen to see if you're gonna buy. And ask those questions that most men are not asking them. Make them think and talk out loud. And then look at their friend circle. Look at their family structure, where they come from, right? And all of these different things matter. And so that's the thing. Most guys are doing too much looking. You get happy with what you see, and then you just bite the bait. No, pay attention to everything that's going on around you. You got 2 eyes and 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We do too much talking, not enough watching and listening. Because everything is going to be right there.
Yeah. It's obvious Solo's been watching King talk and listening to Hink's messages. And shout out to that brother for paying attention to what I say. Because everything you just said, I talk about it all the goddamn time. Look, fellas, most of the time the problem is y'all need to set the tone. A woman can't use you unless you allow it to happen. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. A woman cannot use you unless you allow it to happen. Now, if you allow it to happen now, that's on you. You the goddamn fool. Now she got another one. She put a notch on her goddamn belt with Via's name on it. There's nothing we can do about it. You got to take that L. But for those who paying attention, like my man said, you got to listen. You have to set the tone when you are interrogating a woman, because that's what I like to talk. I interrogate them because I need to find out everything. Like I said, by the third date, I know your credit score, how good you are, and how good you are with your credit, and how you spend your money, if you're frivolous or you're frugal. I need to know all of that. But in your midst of interrogating a woman, pay attention. Pay attention to the type of food she's talking about. If she's one of those foodie type, is she a materialistic type woman? That's going to let you know right then and there. You need to leave her ass at the goddamn restaurant. need to leave her ass at a goddamn rest. She don't deserve to go no further than that. If she's talking like that, she's acting like that. When you making suggestions on restaurants, yeah, I would like to take you here. I think we want to go here for first day. I want to meet you at a coffee shop. We're gonna hit Starbucks and have a cold cut sandwich and just sit down in bed and just kick it. See where her mind is. See where she goes with it. See, and make sure when you do some of these conversations, make sure you have some in-person conversation and not all of them straight on the phone. I know you want to do it on FaceTime, but you know she's going to hit that avatar on your ass. No, hell no. I need to see your facial reactions when I have these certain conversations. How does your body language? Are you going to be squirming or feeling some type of way? Because I said, let's go meet at the coffee shop. Let's go to the pool hall. Let's go down to the bowling alley and just kick it. Huh? Yeah. Another thing is, like my man said, pay attention to everything that's going on around her. Figure out if she has a father figure in her life, and if she doesn't, don't deal with that woman. I don't care how big her ass is, her juicy, her breast is. All that means nothing. Like my man said, we do too much looking. Exactly. Don't fall in love with the exterior, because what's going on between her goddamn ears is the most important. Because that heifer could be 10 karat crazy, and she's going to drive you in a padded wall. What do you need a woman like that for? That's bad for the soul. That's bad for your spirit. And that's bad for your health. So don't deal with them type of women. Set the tone, fellas. Don't be a victim.
So check this out. Like a couple of weeks ago, it might have been last week, where we pretty much went around the panel and asked what and
you skipping out again, Trev. Trev, you skipping out.
You do it anymore. I'm froze.
Oh no, you're good now.
You're good now.
You're back now.
If it do it again, I'll just jump out and jump back in. But what I was saying is that we went around a panel. It was damn near a consensus where we was talking about, like, everyone. We said how many women are marriageable, and everybody gave out 20%. I think we had 30%. So, but now we're behaving as if, most of these women out here that we're going to run into are going to be cool, and they're not going to be on that bullshit. And if it's not that many women available, right? If we're talking about 20% of women who are marriageable, right? And that's the whole point in dating for most of us, right? Think about the odds of you actually running into someone that's good if only 20% of women are considered to be marriageable by both of us. That means that the 80% of them are probably going to be trying to dog you, are probably going to try to game you, are probably going to reject 50-50 and 20-25, or probably going to withhold sex, and a whole bunch of things. And that's all I'm saying. So I believe me when I tell you, I encourage men to do all these things that we talk about. But I think trying to use us as an example would be a bit disingenuous, because most of us are pretty much coaches. So we are not a good sample size of what average men look like, because most of us do coaching, or if not all of us, on some level. So we can never use us as an example or a sample size to say, okay, well, y'all are married. No, that doesn't work. Like, we've been practicing at this, and I've gotten a lot of bumps and bruises on the way to that, right? In my early phases, it didn't take me long to figure it out, but it was some hell and hardship on my way to getting to where I figured I was really, suitable to understand the game. It took me a minute. I had to get hurt a couple times where it's like, damn, and it is what it is. And I'm not embarrassed to say, because there's growing pains. And I'm glad it happened, because at least I can understand a person's perspective who may need that help, and be able to empathize with them from where they were on that side, and to say, well, this is how you get to success, because I've been in the mud with that too and had those bad experiences, which I think is a good thing for men to go through, just so they understand woman's nature and all sides of it.
So Trev, the bumps and bruises that you did get, in hindsight, did you already know that was going to happen?
I had no idea. None at all. And I'll tell you what, maybe my particular instance is a bit different. So I'm a first generation American citizen. My parents were immigrants. They were from South America, Guyana. And over there, it was typically more family oriented. So I was thrown into the wild. I was taught the sugar, spice, and things that's nice, and was prepared for marriage type deal. That's what I saw. That's all I knew. And I went out into the world, and that's not what I received, right? I was not ready for the thunder that these women had for me and the circles they was going to run around me. So I had to learn the hard way.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that, especially if you're coming from a different culture, for sure. I'll give you that. I think again, even if we're going off of the 20%, I was one of the ones that said 30%. The same analogy, if I walk into a room and I see 10 women and I see that there's 3 of them that's interested in me, I think that's pretty good damn odds, because all I need is one of them. So I understand the logic. I get, it's a disservice telling other brothers that may not be at our stature, or however it is that you want to put it, that they can achieve it. But I again believe if you follow the very simple outline that we just gave you, there's no reason why you can't. Yeah, you may come across ones that's going to try and finesse you, but 9 out of 10, if you're paying attention, they're going to tell themselves. What type of television do they watch? Who are they influenced by? What type of music do they listen to? Do they read books? Are they caught up into dramatics? Or
when Lotto
they,
say I'm Big Mama bitches, do they get extra excited?
do they call themselves a boss bitch? And you know what I'm saying? Like all of these narratives of the type of women that we tell men not to wife. So it's I don't understand how this very simple timeline game plan is complicated. It's not complicated. I would even say, even if you come across a woman that's average, that you would consider average, if she sees the value in you, she's going to invest into herself to become a better woman, to be like, oh, he like lamb chops. I don't know how to cook lamb chops. Let me figure out how to learn let me learn how to cook lamb chops, and I'm gonna bring it to him while he at work.
So I'm gonna ask you a question, Viz. Do most women honestly come in as givers or takers?
The women that I've encountered, they're givers.
Do most women, not including Viz, the majority of women that come into relationships, are they takers or givers?
I can only speak on my experience. I can't speak on yours.
Okay.
I mean that's a fair statement, right?
This is how.
So Viz, we get that, but by saying that, right, that means that you have a limited perspective, right? Because if you're saying you never met a female who was able to try to play you or ever came with some nefarious intent, then you have a very small sample size, or just.
I'm not saying that's never, that I've never seen it. What I'm saying is early on, if that's clear that this person is on that, then I'm not dealing with her.
But Viz, it don't be clear, especially that's why I think it's important for us to be outside. It's important for us to be outside, right? And I do that, right? I'll be outside for a reason, because I think it's important for us to understand what's going on here. Like social media changed the damn game, right? These females are actually studying how to game you. They have women who teach this. They got women who read and know how to talk that talk. The game looks the same, Viz. That's all I'm trying to explain to you. we talked about this before, that women could psychologically show you their representative for 2 years. They could really, until they get their teeth, when they get their claws in you, that's when the flip happens sometimes, man. Some people, you might be able to decipher it within a couple weeks, right? Depending on how much game you got, right? If you got a lot of game, and I won't say you don't, because you might, and you probably could pick them off right away. But what I'm trying to explain is that beyond our perspectives, right? The average person isn't, if they're going in good faith, they want to have a relationship, they're trying to show love, they're trying to court a woman that they think is worthy of it, they getting done dirty sometimes, man. That's all I'm trying to say, that we got to sometimes just think out of our perspective, because I understand our perspective, and I think I could survive in any dating climate, period, right? But that's because of the work that I put in, and for me to had gone through certain things to be able to recognize the signs, studying psychology, different things that really put me onto it, right? But that's not what the average person is doing. Most people don't feel like they need to put that much effort into dating, right? That's a lot of work, right? And because I'm able to go ahead,
and that's why they get the results they get, bro.
Facts. And I would add something too. Go ahead, Law.
What up, y'all? Hey, I ain't said nothing yet. I've been quiet for a quick little minute. I did want to kind of jump in on that because you know how we talked about that 20% that we all say is probably viable for marriage material, right? Now, I know about a week or so ago, I asked a group of women the same question. If they had 10 dudes approach them, how many would they even give the time of day? And it was less than that. It was probably about 10%. So what's with the big divide? You know what I'm saying? Do we think a lot of people just have their expectations too high for each other? Because there's a big gap. It's 80% of women that we think ain't really worth it. And then you got 90% of men that they not going to even look at. How do we bridge that? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I think we gotta look at the reality, man. People are greedy, bro, by nature. We got this idea of what we think we want. Like, so it was this story, right? This lady talked about a story about women going into a department store. On the first floor, it was a handsome man. On the second floor, it was a handsome man that made six figures. On the third floor, it was a handsome man that made six figures and had a big house. On the fourth floor, and it just kept going all the way until they got to the top floor, and it was nothing. And they got to the top floor and received nothing because they realized how greedy they was. It's like, come on, it's crazy. And that's how we live our lives. It's like, you got this thing in your imagination, right? Or these potentials that you search for in the person. When your potential or your imagination, it's a figment of your imagination. It's not real. Only thing you can go off of is what's standing right in front of you. You have to choose based upon that. You can't fall for a person's potential, who they should be, who they could be, none of that. Who are they right there in that moment? And also, you gotta realize the soul attracts what the soul is. We are attracting who we are, plain and simple. Because I read, because I'm creative, because I go to church, because I don't go out and kick it and smoke weed and stuff, I'm not attracting that type of woman. I'm not attracting no hoe because I'm not in the environment where they kick it in. You see what I'm saying? And so now when you look at your picking, the litter that you got to pick from, you got to ask yourself, well, what's wrong with me? What do I need to change about myself to change the environment in which I have an opportunity to choose from? A lot of guys are dating down because it makes them feel superior versus building up so they can have better options. You see what I'm saying? So in all due respect, brothers, I know I'm not talking to nobody on this panel, this great esteemed panel of gentlemen, but somebody online gonna watch this. Stop sitting back complaining about the women that you have to choose for and elevate yourself. Read more. Be able to articulate yourself and get into other conversations with other women who think are. Stop complaining about money, bro. Make more money. They print that shit every day. Make more money. And so when I have money is now a problem with me. So I'm not even talking about money. My wife and I was together, bro, 2.5 years. She didn't know how much money I made until 2 weeks before our wedding because it was never a conversation. We don't need to talk about that. Who are you? You see what I'm saying? And so, it gets frustrating when I hear all these trivial conversations about why women this and why men that. Like, bro, just elevate yourself and your pickings will elevate. And if you don't like it on that level, elevate yourself up a little bit more, and your pickings will be better. But most of the time, what you're getting is a mirror of who you are, and we don't want to accept that.
I also think, like, I agree with that point. I think location has something to do with this too, because all three of us is in Chicago, and we kind of got all five was JR was too. All five of us kind of got similar experiences or interactions with women, so it might just be our local region of women. If you take us and put us in Miami, in Brickell or something, all of them might be hoes. It might be just nothing but, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I got faith that I'm gonna pull something too. I got you. We all on the same page when it comes to that. But I'm saying the expectation that some women have in different areas might be different. So if you in a very hyper materialistic culture where a supercar is regular and that type of shit, then it's gonna be like more sugar babies than that. Like I don't run into sugar babies in the city. Like I don't know if y'all ever ran into a sugar baby, but that's not something I really see.
Hey, they know who to ask. Come on.
In abundance, is most of the people, is most of the girls sugar babies?
I tattoo a lot of them. They ain't my wife though. Like they out here. Like, you know what I'm saying?
All right. So what percentage of the city you think you in Chicago?
Yeah, you see the hat. God
I
is
see
in
it.
Chicago.
You could be someplace else. You out west, out south with it.
I'm out south. I'm everywhere, bro. I've been all throughout the city, from the south suburbs all the way to the west suburbs.
You think what percentage of sugar babies you think we got here?
They out here.
The real ones, not like $40 hollers that they got them old dude that slide on. I'm talking about monthly stipends. Like when I'm saying sugar babies on them sites, they be having
percentage. That's kind of hard to say percentage.
I'm just saying they out here, but again, they not even in this conversation, bro. Like we not even looking at that. Like that's what I'm not even a sugar baby's option. I'm too young. Like you see what I'm saying?
My initial point was about locale and the different type of women that are in different cities or different places. So what I'm saying is the parallel between the experiences that we all seem to have with women could have a lot to do with the ideology of women in the Midwest or in Chicago versus a woman that's in California or a woman that's in Miami,
New York.
That's why I'm that's why
again you're gonna track who you are, Brody, and I just encourage guys, man, to just really like, man. I sit and talk to men all day, right? I do men's ministry. I've been tattooing for 15 years, so I've been seeing somebody every day for the last 15 years, talking to people. You see what I'm saying? And unfortunately, man, young and old, men don't know who they are, where they're going. And that's the first turn off for a woman. Because that's like me getting in the car with one of my guys, and I'm like, man, where we going? Nigga say, I don't know. How long you think I'm gonna drive around with him before I say take me home? You know, a lot of guys ain't got vision for their future. So that takes the security away when a woman looks at that. So a lot of guys ain't got just basic confidence in themselves. You see what I'm saying? And so we need to be doing more building on men than we need to be having conversations about women. You see what I'm saying? About what they not bringing to the table. Like we got to do more men development. A lot of us grew up with our fathers in our household. We don't even know what a man looks like, how to define that. You see what I'm saying? But women has always been present. They've always had somebody put them on game and keep them sharp. We ain't got that. And so it gets me, man. Like, you know, if we had a real conversation, and I'm not putting nobody on the stage, but like if I ask a panel of men, where do you see yourself at age 50? He can't answer that question. Where you see yourself at age, if I'm talking to a 30-year-old, where you see yourself in the next 10 years? He can't answer that question unequivocally. And that right there is a problem, because who's going to hitch themselves as far as providing, looking at somebody as a providing protector who don't know where they're going? How can I go with you anywhere if you don't even know where you're going? You don't know how you're going to get there, how you're going to do it. You ain't even got a bad plan. You just got no plan, and that's terrible. And so these are some of the things that I see and that I hear from women. Guys don't know. So how can they hitch themselves to that? Like, I've never had a problem with women, bro, because I've always, been able to take care of myself. I know where I'm going in my life. My wife met me in my 20s. I told her we're going to be at 50, and we're right on time. You see what I'm saying? And that's where the security comes in there. So that I'll leave it at that.
All right. Anybody else want to add anything? I got another clip I want to play.
Yeah, what was your question you asked before we went down this road? There was another question I think you just asked.
Yeah, the question that I asked was as far as protect and provide in the courting phase.
Okay.
Like, what does that look like?
Well, I with me, I would still provide for her mentally. Financially, I don't provide for my girlfriend. I don't do that. I don't pay no rent, no house payment. I didn't do none of that. She got her own place. I had my house, and then once we got married, we bought a house together, and we rocked that way. But I don't believe, and I will teach other men, don't you be out there providing all of those things for a woman who doesn't have your last name. She's not deserving of those blessings. Why are you doing this? She needs to prove to you that she can take care of her goddamn self. Because if something happens, I need to know that she's got Hink's back. I need to know that she can go out there and pay bills, do this and do that, and function on a consistent basis. Not just in a 3-month time period. No. That ain't what I need to see. Because if she coming to me talking about I need to borrow this money, okay, that lets me know your finances are not in order. That's a problem for me. Now, my man, I know you said y'all didn't talk about money until you got married. I don't believe in it. I need to know what your debt ratio is. I need to know what your debt to income ratio is. That's a must, because I need to know what I'm about to invest into. Am I going to invest into a house payment and you ain't even got a house because you got this goddamn student loan? Are you just bad with money? You got multiple bankruptcies on your record? Nah, that ain't what I want. You're a walking headache, and I'm not the man for you. So I would definitely don't believe in doing all that providing financially for a woman who doesn't have my last name. My wife, I didn't do that, but I take care of her in other ways. Hold on, my brother, I got you though. I take care in other words to make sure she's mentally prepared for me to come in her life. You know what I'm saying? We are a blended family. She has kids. I had to make sure her kids was mentally prepared, as well as my kids was mentally prepared to make sure they are ready for me to be involved in her life and her kids be involved in my life. So those are the things I had to make provide. But as far as financially, no, I don't believe in that. But I'll leave it there. Go ahead, big bro.
No, I was saying I was blessed in that regard. I had a unique situation to where, I met my wife in my 20s, and she was coming to her parents' house, coming into my house. So I was blessed to we grew together in that sense.
All right, go ahead, True. Before I play this video, you want to chime in with what's been said already?
Yeah, what's going on, fellas? How you doing, gentlemen? Thanks for having me up, JR. Good conversation as always. I do appreciate the perspectives. I will say what I have noticed, and I got this introduction to the kind of what I can't see your name, the gentleman in the hoodie. So sorry. Solo. Okay. I kind of agree with what Solo was saying in the sense of men need to develop themselves. I'll definitely agree. The first time I was thrust into being around a lot of men from various sides of America was when I went to the military. And it was quick to understand how low most dudes' standards were. I was born and raised in Cali. I can easily tell you that a 4 in California is a hard 8 or 9 in most states. And it was clear to understand this once I started kicking it with people from various places. No knock to the dudes that is from the South or whichever, but it's interesting how with a very small sample size, your standards seem to be smaller. What I can tell you is that also I don't believe men actually ask themselves what they really want from a woman. And I think that they're afraid to actually be honest and say it out loud without having this knee-jerk reaction of, well, how's she gonna feel about it? I'll land it there, and if we can, build from that.
I think that you brought up an amazing point, and we talked about this last time. Your network, right? And in developing a network, you understand what the standard is, or rather should be, if I want to be this type of person. So that's why, and not to take away from anybody's experience, right? But if you know who you are, then you're not going to waste your time with women that are not to your par. You Most of those women won't even waste their own time. So it's we need to invest into ourselves as men, as kings, and understand the power and dynamic it is that we have. If a woman is feeling you, she's going to show that authentically, genuinely. It's going to feel right. If she's trying to game you and con you, if you're allowing for her to talk and show and do what it is that she is, then you're going to see that clearly. But you gotta have you have to be focused on what it is that you want. I don't want to waste my time with some young lady that I know is, then it's not a conversation. We're not even making it to a date because we only got past the phone call. So it's we as men, we have to create that standard for ourselves and get around other men that think and act likewise in order to get that game and experience without having to go through the bumps and bruises.
You can't avoid the
I'm
bumps
glad
and
you wrote
bruises.
One thing is make sure you set your tone by if you find a woman that you're about to marry, you feel like it's worthy enough to bless with your last name, you got to have a game plan. And that's one thing I make sure I presented to my wife was a game plan, a financial game plan, our emotional game plan, how we're going to deal and raise and integrate our family together. All that has to be presented to make sure y'all all on the same page. Because if we're not on the same page, you don't need to go any further with the situation. You're wasting your time then. You got to make sure you have a plan and you present it to her, and to see where her mindset is on that plan, and allow her to have her input on the plan. Because guess what? She can also bring something to your plan. When you share it, you can bring some good knowledge, some experience, and some things that she may went through that could help provide and make your plan a lot better. But you have to present it to the woman. You don't present your plan to every woman you deal with, or every woman you took out on one goddamn expensive restaurant 5-star date. No, that's bullshit. No, she don't deserve that. But that woman you feel like you're gonna bless with her last name, make sure you present your plan. Let it be known. Go ahead, Ken. I didn't mean to shut you off, big brother. My bad. My bad, Gooch.
That is Marcus.
My bad, Mark.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, you good. I was gonna say that True kind of. So I lived in a lot of states in the U.S. So in every coast and outside of the country too. It's a fact that different places have different cultures of different type of women. So when he bring up Cali, like even in Cali is different. Like the LA area, those women, so a quick example of what they do. They're usually the most beautiful women from across America. They go there to get on and film music or some form of entertainment, right? They get down there, they think their looks is gonna carry them. It doesn't. So then they try and figure out how to enter into the scene. True. I'm telling the truth, right? I was there in LA at how long? This shit was a minute ago. Playhouse and all them other spots, partying in the hills and shit. And what they do is they'll try and fuck their way into the industry a lot of times. Just keep it a bean. They'll start sleeping with a DJ first to get into the club. Then they'll try and find somebody to do music or the acting or whatever. And then try and work their way through that. And it's just a complete culture of that. I'd say down to 60 to 70% of women in that specific location do that shit. But then you go to the Bay and it's completely different. Them women, damn near ready to pay a choosing fee. You know what I'm saying? It's different like areas that give you different response. But I still agree with your initial point about everything as far as you attract what you want and all those things. But I think the nuance in this is it's easier in some places than it is in other, just specifically based off of the culture of the people in that environment or what drives mass migration into that area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll double down on that. The reason why I brought that up is, I'm trying to keep it concise, is that had I not been introduced, like Marcus said, and it's so true, it used to trip me out that cats that was from various places or weren't major cities, or at least like LA, that how juiced they were about basic looking girls. In California, you go anywhere. I mean, Starbucks, in and out, like baddies are everywhere. So what it did is it helped me to not be so hype about a pretty looking girl. Uh, So many chicks I done got rid of that cats was like, her, like you let her go. And in my mind, I'm like, she's just a chick. They come a dime a dozen. So I don't know if a lot of dudes are really putting themselves in positions to be exposed to a higher competition area, because that changes how you approach women. And it's not just the city, it's where are you approaching them at the promenade, or is it only at the club? Are you able to go to places where you can have a conversation and not be like, yo? Because some girls you can't say yo to and they actually pay attention. And that's what I've seen a lot of times is dudes, to Solo's point, they don't know who the heck they are. So dudes is running this program like, if I get her attention, let me rush to the experience. I gotta put her in front of distractions, so therefore she gives me the time of day. And that's the wrong play already. But I digress.
All right.
But
Go ahead, Biz.
yeah, to Marcus's point, with Cali, and I'm quite sure, and I've been to Cali, LA a few times. Uh, for me, the thought process of going to a club or to a bar or to somewhere where you know that this woman goes frequently and expect for her to be a wife is insane to me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not where you go to find a wife at. So I think that right there immediately is the first red flag of you setting yourself up for failure. Go find her at Starbucks. Go find the square chick sitting on the laptop at Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? Working on a project. Go to the gallery, the art gallery, where is a ton of people at, majority women, and they're sitting around looking at pieces and talking about it. There's so many other places where you can meet what I would assume is a better quality woman than the women that most men say that they encounter. If you go to oddball places where you will more than likely find that woman almost by accident.
I'm gonna tell you why I hear what you're saying, Viz, but this is why I believe it's problematic. It sounds like what girls say about where you find a quality man. Like you're gonna find him in the grocery store. I don't believe, just to Solo's point, I don't believe that if you are the person you're supposed to be, it don't matter where you are. Now I do agree that you may want to be cognizant of where you're at. If you're spending time at sketchy places, that makes more sense to me. But clubs are vast. There's a lot of quality wife-like women who go to salsa clubs, who go to cha-cha places, who go to line dancing places. So I think we have to be careful when we tell men this that are not on this panel, because they'll hear club and like, okay, so I'm not gonna find her here. I don't know if that's true. Sometimes the best presentation you get of that woman is in a place where she prepared to go out. You'll catch a lot of girls walking around dusty, and I mean, if that's your vibe, then cool. But I don't know if that's fruitful to tell men to avoid concentrated places of where women actually put effort and anticipate meeting men in a social environment. And I digress.
No, that's fair. Now I get that. However, again, I think that in the scenario of the club, right, you're going to hit them with the yo type of deal. There's no conversation that you can really engage in with this woman at the club compared to somewhere else where you can actually have the conversation, the icebreaker with them, right? So that's already you're already doing a lot of the leg work before you even have to. right?
Well, I think what True is saying too is that, because I have seen women go out, they don't want to go, but this is where their friend, coworker, this is where they want to celebrate. And so they may tag along, and you may just see somebody being an outlier where they just really there just for support. Probably spend about an hour and a half, and then they out. So you may luck up on something, but you won't know until you have a conversation. So I don't think everybody that goes to the club, you can say majority, or you can say it's probably not a place. But if you step out with your guys, you might luck up on something. You know, sometimes you stand out, even if you're not the club type person, and you see everybody popping bottles, and you just looking fly. You just, got your drink in your hand, you just vibing, and then somebody may peep that, like, you don't look like you come out too often. So it can happen. I just think that men got to be equipped and prepared no matter the situation.
That's the scary part. That you don't look like you come out too often. It's the scary part. That's gonna make me not want to talk to you, because obviously you be out too damn often. You can see me. How you know? Nah, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nah, environments matter, man. It's like, it's a lot of nuance in what we talking about, because it's like saying, shoot, if I go to the block in front of the dope spot, you know what I'm saying? I mean, 9 times out of 10, most of the people coming out of there getting high.
Yeah.
I'm just here with my cousin though. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's location matter, man. We just got to be better with the picking. That's all.
Yeah.
And we're speaking from the average Joe's perspective, right? We're not speaking, like Trev said, from our own perspective. We're speaking from the average Joe's perspective. So if the average Joe is saying that it's 70%, 80% of trash women out here, and that's all that I'm interacting with and engaging with, then is that because of the locations that you're going to?
Yeah.
But see, that's where it gets sticky, fellas. I have no problem talking to women, but I'm out, like Trev said, all the time. There's very few times that I see a woman in the position to be approached. See, I could do it. You could do it. We equipped to do it. If we're talking about the average dude does not know how to dismantle a woman, does not know how to pick up on social cues, execute and get what he needs within 30 seconds so that she doesn't feel pressured, creeped out, or any of the above. The average dude don't know how to do that. So I think that it's better to put yourself in an environment where you have to develop those skills. Go to social places where women are already there. That's just my opinion.
Let me ask you a question real quick. So with all the qualifiers that you put on the table, you have to fail forward until you get right, or unless you get within your groove and find out what works for you as for communication skills, etc. Finding the right woman that fits your build, not putting your expectations too high. Stop going for a Megan Thee Stallion. Maybe you get just a regular girl, round-the-way girl or something like that you can talk to. There's a lot of complexities. Would you say it's easy or hard?
See, me personally, I would encourage any man to shoot for the moon. Why shoot low?
And fall among the clouds, but the verdict is it hard or is it easy?
Neither one is easy. What I'm saying, neither one is easy. It takes some development to know how to socialize with women. What I'm saying though is that the average everyday, I'm just not seeing it at your Sprouts, at your Walgreens or wherever. Most dudes would know what to do if he sees a woman and then depicts, okay, I want to shoot my shot. I think the environment does matter. If it's a social environment, it's already geared towards interacting.
So my last question to you, do you think a man goes through his life and he does not fail at least one time before he finds something?
No, failure is a part of the process. So absolutely, he's going to fail.
I'll mute up.
That proved no point. Yeah, it's you're going to get turned down. you're gonna encounter women that may not be interested in you. So
Vince, you
what?
said you never went down that road.
No, Trev said.
No,
He
you
asked me,
said you never went down that road. I asked you.
Period.
I didn't go down the road of being turned down or getting my heart broken, because that's what he said, was getting your heart broken. You just asked True a question about falling forward because a chick turned you down. That's something completely different.
Am I in the same world? I'm going on mute, JL.
All right.
Well, to true
Hey,
earlier
brothers.
point about
Right. Exactly.
Hey,
about
real quick,
the
Marcus.
social. All right.
Real quick. Hey, I appreciate you brothers allowing me on the platform and on the panel. I got to get back to a client. I only had an hour to give, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for having me back,
I
bro.
appreciate
Jay,
you.
I appreciate you.
All right, no
Viz, we
problem.
gonna
Yes,
holler.
sir.
All right, brothers. Y'all have a good one.
All right.
Love.
Right on, baby.
Love.
Right on.
Yeah, but to True earlier point about the social cues and all those things, though, that has to be developed. I think that not only does it help you enable to create a on the fly interaction, which is ideal, but it also translates into being able to maintain a relationship. Because the same skill that it's going to require to be observant and socially aware that this may be the right time to holler at her is the same skill that's going when she say, "Oh, it's nothing wrong," when she actually it's something, and you can pull it out of it through the conversation that you acquire through like honing in on those social skills, or how to keep the spice and the romance going within the relationship, or how just to keep intimacy and all those things, drawn back to the earlier point about protection. The mental and emotional well-being is attached directly to your social readability, or whatever. What was the word you used? Social I forget what word you said, True.
Social aptitude, your
Oh, yeah.
ability to observe. Yeah, definitely.
Right, yeah. So those things have to be developed, which is why I always struggle with the young man finding a woman to get married right away. Because without those skill sets, unless you have somebody to teach you, it is kind of failing forward and may end in divorce if you don't know how to control your emotions and be stoic while you learn the process of how to read women and interact with them in this society in a way that is beneficial so you can get the desired results. But it's hard as fuck in the beginning, but once you get over the threshold, it's a cakewalk. But that initial process of learning and the trial and error, the failure, the rejection, all those things that can occur, that is very difficult. Especially for the younger people who didn't grow up having to walk up and get numbers on pen and paper and call later, when you getting hit with just giving your social media, and then you falling into a list with everybody else or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it would behoove younger men to figure out how they can engage in ways with women outside of just the typical flirting through social media, sending 50 DMs and see which one strike. Because once somebody responds, it's still going to be difficult if you don't have the social awareness to be able to interact and actually make her feel comfortable. I've been trying to explain how to interact with women this whole time. The only thing I've been met with is, "You simping, you a simp." And I'm like, bro, if you think I'm simping, I guarantee you you're gonna have the worst time ever when it comes to interacting with women, because I'm just showing them basic respect and not trying to hurt their feelings when I'm speaking to them. But to somebody who views it as, "No, you got to just check these women and put them in their place, fresh and fit type shit," bro, fresh and fit gonna set niggas up to fail for life, like for life. That emulating them and the way they interact with women, that shit is never gonna go over well, like ever in life.
All right, let me get to the super chat and then I'm gonna play this video from Jason Williams and B Simone. Kind of add to the conversation. AP, accountability partner, $5 says, "Let's keep it real. At the club, it goes from 20% to 3%. The club is simply a shortcut to some quick box. Let's be honest." Thank you, AP. Let me go ahead and run this clip.
My question is I don't want to use the word give up. I guess when you walk away, how do you know, what are the attributes in a man that is healing, that is growing, that is on the right path to know, I can walk with him through this because he's growing and he's not going to be stagnant and be the same in 10 years. Like I'm not wasting my time. Like
now that's tricky. So one thing I like about this book, and actually a woman actually brought this out about the 10 characteristics of a comprehensive man. It actually can help you look past the superficial things in a man.
Okay.
What to look for.
Okay.
And so you'll be able to identify these characteristics faster instead of going down those paths where you end up actually putting not the relationship, but yourself at jeopardy.
So what are the things you feel like I should be looking at up front, like early?
From the door, his relationship with the Most High.
For
Where
sure.
you are now, it's like, that's the most important. Like, what is his stances on like celibacy? You know, I was blown away when I found out that the first time you're supposed to kiss your wife is when you marry her.
What?
That's why it's a great emphasis.
Is that where you hear that at?
Listen.
Okay, I'm listening, Jason. Give me a second. I'm trying to kiss somebody now. A kiss.
You're gonna make me cough all this
I'm
stuff.
sorry.
Up.
Drink your
It's
tea.
all good.
Oh, Lord.
It's all good. Listen, so
At the wedding?
I felt the same way.
Okay,
Listen.
okay, I'm listening.
So I was discipled by a brother my age, actually named Shannon.
Okay.
And he had told me, he says,
Not Shannon Sharp.
No.
Okay.
Not that Shannon. Not that Shannon.
I'm making sure I need to know where we get these resources.
Yeah, not
That
that
nigga was on
Shannon.
live tripping. Okay, I'm just making
And
sure.
he didn't kiss his wife until he married her.
Wow.
I said, where did you get this from? He says, why do you think the pastor placed great emphasis on you may
now wow.
kiss your bride?
Wow.
Before then, she's your sister. There is no girlfriend in the scriptures.
Boyfriend, yeah.
There's no girlfriend really in the world. When you go fill out a legal document, you're married or single.
That's it.
That's it. And so where's his stand on that? Look at his friends. Look at his family.
Like, where's
Who's
my
around?
stand on that? I might have to get
That's a different story. Now, to the defense of many brothers, a lot of times that's the greatest fight.
Yeah.
Because the men hold up.
Yeah.
But then the woman would
is
make the
falling
advance.
short.
There you go.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're more tuned into those emotions as well, which is a great challenge.
Yeah.
And which is the enemy uses that a lot more on you than us. With him, against us, he uses the anger, the pride, the workaholic, basically how many men are working themselves to death, won't go see the doctor because they got to go to work. And then next thing you know, they're diagnosed with cancer and they don't even have life insurance for their children. Do you see how that goes?
Yeah. It's just downhill.
Yeah. And so, so that's what I would do. I would definitely put up a barrier. Even with my wife, she has to have a procedure soon. And it's important for me. I need to see this doctor.
I know that's right.
Not, you can do all this. My wife is a registered nurse, so she can do the background check to see if he's one of the top in Michigan, whatever. But I need you to know, look in my face, that if she don't make it out, if she don't make it out of that operating room, you got to see me. And it's not a threat, because I'm not about threatening anyone. But you need to know that someone is sitting on the other side of this room waiting to see her. That's very important for anyone. Any other man who has to be in your care, he needs to know that there could be ramifications for any of his acts that come to you.
Wow.
And that's the benefit of having that protection around
That covering.
you. And so, it's when you see the dismantling of that, especially in our community, it's very strategic and spiritual.
All right, so we kind of spoke a little bit about his marriage, but the thing that kind of stood out was just how in that conversation a little bit before then, she was just basically settling on the fact that she was going to be single. And he was basically, well, why do you feel like you want to be single? You don't want to be covered. And so he kind of highlighted the benefits of the protection and the provision that you can get from a man. So I guess we kind of open it up from that, man, the importance of it, because I don't think some women see value in it. And especially after they get up in age and they're so used to being single and conditioned to not have to coexist with somebody. But I do think it is an important thing. And I think that it's not spoke up enough about it. So what are you guys' thoughts?
Well, y'all know I always speak on it, you know what I'm saying? And I see a lot of issues with some of our women that feel like, that they'll just stay single, they don't need a man. And a lot of times it's because they don't understand what that looks like. they don't understand the values because they've gotten so wrapped up into the me movement. You know what I'm saying? About them doing for self, and they don't understand the positives that they would be getting if they did have a solid individual behind them, you know. And it's kind of like what he said, you know, they'd be so worried. You go to the doctor, that brother need to see on the other hand that there's somebody, you know what I'm saying, right here that's serious about it. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot different when they don't feel like it's any ramifications and nobody care. You know what I'm saying? When you see things happen to women, it's because usually they're alone. And as he said, they don't have no covering, right? That's where the protection come in. You know what I'm saying? The provision. So yeah, absolutely.
But like, what are some of those things? I mean, anybody can answer, not necessarily you, Law. But if somebody's watching this and they hearing you vouch for it, but what is some of the things of protection and provision that women can benefit from?
Well, I mean, like y'all ever see these the memes they do where it's not only it's like a girl calling her father for everything. Every little thing. You know you got somebody you can turn to. When you got a husband, it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You can benefit from having that protection, having that you know somebody's got you regardless. You know what I mean? Those are the benefits of that. The guidance that he can give you. Sometimes these women don't know when you should shut up or when it's your time to talk or how you should carry yourself in the presence of a man because you've never seen it. You learn these things from your husband. You know what I'm saying? Those are the benefits that you're going to get and teaching you how to conduct yourself around men. If you come across an issue with the man, who you supposed to turn to? Your husband, right? You know what I mean? And if you don't have that, you don't know which way to turn.
Yeah, most women get a chauffeur, personal security, uh, either somebody that pitch in, if not pay all the bills, and sex. Like, there's so many different things that women get from a relationship that can be put on paper and read off. Like, most times when you get in the car, you're gonna drive, so she don't got to worry about that. She don't got to worry about getting approached and having to fight her own battles. She don't got to worry about feeling like women to tell you when they move places and they live by themselves, they feel extremely paranoid and unsafe just being in the space by themselves. So much so that they'll try and have like a brother or a cousin stop by just so other people in the area can see that there's a man around that loves them. Yep. Like, so to have that on a day-to-day basis is 1,000% better. Yeah, it's women saying, yeah, when I get with my man, my brain shut off. You know what I'm saying? They'll like, I don't even like going to the club with my wife or to certain spots where I want to just chill because my focal point ain't on having fun.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be on making sure she's straight. There's no issue. You know what I'm saying? That I got to deal with on her behalf.
Bruh, just before I didn't mean to cut you, Hank, but I want
go ahead, Law. Was you gonna finish up?
I was just gonna say, man, I know what you're saying, Marcus, because Sunday night I was just out for my cousin's birthday with my wife and my oldest daughter. I'm not having no fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just on security, on bouncer mode. You know what I mean? Just making sure everybody's solid. But go ahead, Hank. That's all.
No, I was gonna say a lot of women are naive to what's going on around them, right? They don't realize certain places they go that's unsafe because they don't feel like nothing's going to happen to them because they're a woman. Unfortunately, 2025, that's not the case. That's not the situation. So sometimes as husbands, as men, we have to protect them from themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So I part of me vetting my wife, I had to evaluate her friends and her friend circle. And certain friends we had to get rid of because they don't mean right by us. They not for marriage. They don't respect the sanctity of marriage. They don't respect how things operate and moves and goes on. And if you can't do that, you can't be around because you're a hindrance. You're not a help. So I got to protect her about me having a conversation. Baby, no, don't worry about it. Don't you have to break the friendship. Let me wear the black hat. I have no problem with that. You need not call her no more. You need not contact her. Just drop her from the list. she ain't gonna be running with you no goddamn more. Because you don't bring nothing to this, nothing but negative energy and hateful behavior and mindsets and whole type moves. We don't need this. So as part of a man's providing that protection, that's what they need. Just like I said, protected from themselves. My wife used to go out middle of the night. She forgot to go get gas. She'll go out at 12 o'clock at night, go get gas. And don't that. I said, baby, don't do that. I said, whatever it is, ride on fumes, wait to go in the morning and do what you got to do. Don't go out at night. And then I said, look, if anything, if it's that bad, I'll go. You call me up and I'll come get your car and I'll go. Now, this is prior to us being married. That's part of the protection I had to make sure I had to provide for her. Because, you know, just move and operate like nothing's going to happen. She's just a naive and don't think nothing's going to go on. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. You got to protect her. Even when you come in at night, make sure you pay attention to what's going on. And if you feel nervous, don't get out of the car. You call me and let me know you out there, and I'll walk out there and I'll get you. But that's part of me providing that, make sure that you provide for your woman, that level of protection that she needs. Because like I said, they don't think nothing's going to happen. Ain't nobody going to do anything. I'm going to go home and they won't. Yes, they will try to take advantage of you. Yes, they will try to rob you or do something to you. So I can't have that. So I got to do what I got to do as a man. That's a part of it. So I'll leave it there.
You know what?
Other part. Go ahead, Trev.
I think we've created a society that's made it so comfortable for women to be able to live that we've lost our perceived value, right? At this point, a woman, she could get an alarm system for her house. She could go get a strap if she need to. She got a cell phone in her hand. She could call 911. She feels secure enough in her mind that she doesn't really need a man. Financially, she's able to make enough money. What does she need us to provide for anymore? Right? And there's many other things that we offer, the intangibles, right? The things that are maintain a relationship that maybe she's never experienced or never witnessed a good example of. So how could she possibly find value in that, right? If you can't even recognize it, you wouldn't realize it if it was looking at you right in the face. You wouldn't even recognize or care to. So, you know, women are becoming a lot more educated now. So you can't tell them shit. They know better than you. Right? So a lot of women are becoming that. Now, this is not to say every woman behaves like that. I understand there are some great women out here, which is why a good portion of us on the panel are married, right? But that's not what you see every day outside. That's not what we see every time we turn on social media. That's not what we see a lot of times in real life. That's not what we always witness. We witness these females who no longer value men at all. So they could care less about protection or provision, which are our two primary functions. Well, it's always been known as, right? Now, I don't even know what our primary function is supposed to be to modern day women. Is it the D? Is it like, you know, ATM? If you broke, like, you know, pick your poison, right? But we've now been recognized as tools, and there's been not just what we created as society, but even if you look at like the TV shows, we're always bumbling idiots, right? You watch Simpsons, you watch Married with Children. We're like, if we're not demonized, if we're not ridiculed, we're just made to look like fools. And this is the perception now that women have of us. Useless. They feel like, okay, well, I'm going to use him to do this or to get here or trick him into doing that. But for the most part, I could do with it without him.
But you know something though, Trev, I always took the mindset, don't get no woman that don't say she don't need a man. She needs to be a lifetime single woman. Let them have us be single for the rest of their goddamn life. If you dealing with somebody, she said, I don't need a man. Yeah, leave at the goddamn restaurant. My bad. I didn't mean to cut off who I was about to cut off. I think it was you,
No,
Big Dog.
you all good, big dog. But yeah, no, if a female gets to talking anything the way that Trev said, leave that strag where she is. What men bring and the women that you should be aiming for or looking for is a woman that understands the value and power of you holding her hand when you walk into a room, when you're crossing the street, the dynamics of you speaking life into her, the understanding of if she gets off work, and she had a rough day, that ear to listen, to allow for her to vent. You know what I'm saying? While you rubbing her feet, the things that a rose can't do. You gonna feel this flesh and muscle that's on top of you. You know what I'm saying? There's these things that men
What?
there's these things that as a man, women crave. Women crave to be dominated, right? So if you're not a dominating figure, then of course. But if you understand that that the time and the place to dominate her or to show domination when you go out in the public, then that's where she understands the value, and that's where she appreciates you. It's the little things that matters. I've talked to plenty of women that say that men don't open the car doors for them. Just doing that, you know what I'm saying? Though these little things of courtship, that was once the basics. I think that goes a long way. And if you ignore and you don't do those things in the early days of you courting them, then yeah, you probably going to get a woman that you're going to perceive uh as a not being a good woman or fitting into those categories, because she doesn't respect you, she doesn't value you, because you're not giving her or showing her anything to respect or value. So I think that if we show up as the man that we are or that we should be, then she gonna see right out the gate what it is, and she's gonna conform to fit what's rightfully due to you.
Period.
Let me get True in there, Kenny.
Okay. I think that I think brothers now do have a lot more that they have to consider, to all valid points on what Trev said, what Marcus said, and even what Viz said. The landscape is different because the world we live in now is a convenience-based world. What I believe a lot of men of old had the advantage of was that the basics were enough. The basics were adequate. Working, being strong, that was it. Well, now they have, I mean, shoot, you don't even have to vacuum your floor now. You had a little little joint if you want. And so I think with that, going back to what Viz said earlier, I believe men have to understand what their true value is and be authentic to it. One thing I think men do better than women overwhelmingly is that we equip ourselves with knowledge that is optimal and things that are efficient over time. An example of this is that, let's say you are fairly social, your local barber, your local bouncer, your local mechanic, or whichever, because problems are always going to arise. What women generally do, in my opinion, is they equip themselves with Google knowledge, but they don't have real life experience. If you want to, in my opinion, stand out in her mind, you have to provide her with things that work probably alongside what she's doing, but maybe work even better. And what I have found is that sometimes at first they're not going to always admit that what you're doing works, but over time, to Viz's point, she'll see the value in you. They'll start to mimic what you're doing. They may change their bank accounts based on the recommendations that you made. Because what I think is different is that the attitude of women now, because of the convenience, is that they really do think they're doing a lot of this individually, not realizing the heavy assistance through the technological advances. And I'll land my plane there.
All right, go ahead, Kenny.
Aspirational at best. I heard you say maybe. You willing to risk your fortune on a maybe? How true?
Am I willing to risk my fortune on a maybe? Expound on that.
You have a woman in your life. She seems the representation of what you want. On a maybe, are you willing to risk it all?
Well, no. I think I'm relatively risk averse. What I was trying to explain, kind of jumping off of what Trev set as the foundation, the society we live in now is different. Women don't see men off the cuff as valuable as they once did. Before mid-century, it was easy. We're not dealing
So
with women
you
like that now.
so you would agree it's conditional.
I think it has a element of condition, sure. I
Okay,
think
so
that.
now
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, finish.
I think that to earn that position as dominant as Viz said, current day, it looks different, is what I'm saying. Dominance is not just stature. Dominance is not just your money, because a lot of those things they're sharing in that already. So what makes us dominant is the fact that we live an experience they've never lived. I'm a man. I don't care how much money she has or what she's done. There's things that just come with the experience. So you have to know how to optimize that in your life, and she sees it. But that usually takes a little bit of time, in my opinion.
Okay, so if we're talking non-traditional women, cliche term, you have to show me that I can relinquish my leadership to you. You ever heard a woman say that to a man?
I have.
Okay, so now that is a default given because women today don't want to relinquish it because they've been taught not to be under the leadership of a man. Most women, though they some say it, the majority I dare to say don't embody God, man, woman, child. They want to be under place and social norms have conditioned women to look at you as partners and equals. And that is one of the biggest problems that we have today that adds to the thing that I say is very complex. As for you finding your forever in a woman, there's a lot of math that goes into it. Keep up. It is not pre-K anymore when we go out there because we have a lot to risk. Are you willing to risk it all on a maybe?
What I was trying to do was speak to the reality of the climate. So me personally, no. I think that it'd be foolish for men to assume that the conditions of now, whether the woman's traditional, modern, whatever terminology you want to use, that we're dealing with the same condition. We're sharing in the experience of life with women, regardless of if you want to accept that or not. It's not just men in the workplace. It's not just men in high positions of power. So because of that, that's created a different perspective of what men's function is to most women. I've dealt with both, all traditional, modern, doesn't matter. The woman of today, in order for her, in my opinion, to see your value, you have to be optimal. You have to be consistent. You have to be creating an experience that supersedes hers or is in addition to hers, to where it's more functional, more prominent. That's what I
Okay,
assume.
okay, true. Were you here or did you get to see the beginning of the 3 opening women and the requirements they put on the table?
I didn't get a chance to see that. No.
Okay, they came with requirements. They came in as takers. I'm not being a Debbie Downer. It's not easy. I believe that you could find forever, but you have to look. You have to really dig through the weeds. It's not easy. We spoke about hours on the complexity, and it still baffles me that some people still believe it's easy to go out there and find someone who is not going to destroy you. I count the brothers up here. You're lucky, more than lucky. You're blessed to have
Yo,
what you have.
Ken, one thing I'll say to that too, bro. I want people to understand it's gonna be work. You feel me? Regardless. People be thinking, oh, they gonna, it's the first sign of bad they run. It's gonna be work. Anything worth having is gonna be some hard work in there. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't do we can't catastrophize it and try and look negative at every potential possibility. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he might have
That's not what
had a
that's
red
what I'm
flag,
doing.
but is it something you can deal with? Is it something that you can work through? Something that you can teach her to do better? You know what I mean? It's like you gotta think it is still very possible, but it's gonna be some work, regardless of you know what I'm saying. What happens is gonna be work, and a lot of times people nowadays I say give up quick too. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm 100% agreement with you, Law. What I'm not trying to say that it's not possible for you to go out there and do it. I don't want you to be or anyone listening to us to think that they can just go out there and just crash for the first one that they see that smiles the right way and is able to cook a chicken, or maybe not. I just what I do is I want people to be more discerning, because there's actual people up here that have been through women destroying them, and that doesn't mean that they're damaged. An L doesn't mean you took a loss. Depending on how you look at it, it's a lesson. And I am a believer in a higher power, and I believe certain things happen to you so that you can see who can be exclusive in your life. You can be bitter for a moment, but get better and take the lessons that we're mulling through right here. So I'm not a Debbie Downer when it comes to that thing, and I want people to understand that when you find a good woman, you found forever in your lotto ticket. And I will keep repeating it till it permeates through your mind. But there's work, like you said, to get there. You're going to get a lot of bumps and bruises and scars to find that one that's willing to put the ointment on your wounds, wrap it up, and make sure that you're okay. She doesn't care if you have $1 in your pocket. She's going to make sure that you're fed. As long as she sees your heart and you're that aspirational man that shows her that your heart beats for her. I want to see it to a point where men would say and find that thing that they said, I will go hungry so that you can eat. That's how deep I am for that. So don't get the words twisted as for how I approach it. I dropped my mic right there.
So check it though. See, I don't want anyone to get the the sentiment confused, right? But there obviously are some deep rooted issues, right? So if less than a third of us as Black people get married, which is the worst marital rate in the country, right? And then we have 2/3 of us fail, which is also, out of those people who get married, the worst marital rate again, right? The worst divorce rate and the worst marital rate. We got some issues we got to work on. We have to go into these relationships understanding what it is that we're getting into. We obviously have people who are pairing up with the wrong people, right? We're marrying the people we shouldn't, and that's if we can get married at all. We're having the most difficult time out of any other race in a country. We suck at it. So we can't look at it. I mean, I want to be optimistic for it, but we have to recognize there's some deep issues first. There's some things that we have to fix. There's some things that us as men and women have to recognize, right? We have to, us as men, we have to work on ourselves. We have to build ourselves up, right? We have to be as responsible as possible. We have to grow to learn finances, learn how to raise a family, right? There's a lot we have to do, and women have to, well, I don't have to explain it. I think we did enough of beating up on a woman for the night. We know what they have to do, right? I don't know if they know what they have to do, but that's the reason why I understand that it's bad. Like, so it's not just me looking at it like it's bad. If you look at the data, it says we're bad. We are messed up. That's what the data suggests. It's not my thoughts. It's not my feeling. I don't base anything that I say. Any of my opinions are based on facts. So this is what the data suggests. We suck at it. It's things we have to do to improve. And it starts with us men understanding women and vice versa, and learning to gain that respect for each other, to understand that we are better together, right? Because even with those stats, I think us having the weakest family unit also leads to a multitude of other issues. Why we can't get along, we can't build wealth. It all ties in together. If you look at the most successful races with marriages, they also are the most successful with wealth. It's parallel. There's a lot of parallels with that. So I just understand that we have a lot of work to do. We have to recognize it. And it starts with us just as man and woman having successful relationships.
Yeah. As we close out, man, I just want us to keep in mind that we all have to continue to have an open mind, because we all have different experiences. And unfortunately, I know it's difficult for us to see from a different lens. There are some people that have been hurt, and I don't think that they can I think it's difficult sometimes for people to look at the lens for the people that have not been hurt. I can say that I've never been hurt, right? Everything that I've gone through has been because I created it. I set the tone, I set the narrative. And sometimes I had to show a little bit of empathy for people, because I couldn't really fathom how they were having these troubles, because I may not have been having those experiences. Like I just don't see it, but I know it exists. And how I know it exists because we hear the stories about it from people going through these things, and then vice versa. Like, people will probably never know some of the things I've gone through. They may not have seen it because they just don't know what it feels like. So I just think we just got to have an open mind when we have these discussions, that all of us are not going to be the same, but we can learn something from it. Some people will never have that experience. They will never know what it feels like. And I'm sorry for you. We don't control that. The world controls who's valuable, who's the alpha in the room, who's going to get married. Some of these things are going to require for you to have to do work. Some people have to work harder than others. It is what it is. I'm not jealous of anybody. I accept the way I look. I accept the way I am. And I just move off my strengths. I'm not trying to impress nobody. I'm not trying to, I can improve in the areas that I see I need to improve in. And I just go ahead and live life, man. We just have to have an open mind, because everybody's experience is different. So I don't want us to invalidate it and say that these things are not true, because you don't know. All we can do is seek understanding when we had these discussions, and be like, man, that's okay. And see if we can kind of get somewhere, man. But let me get to the super chat and we get up out of here. AP Accountability Partner, $5 says, I read this already. Oh, you got a super chat. I want to thank everybody. Go ahead, Viz.
If I can say something. No, I was just gonna say again. I mean, I don't want to take away from nobody's experience, but what we all know, and there's an old saying of you can only respond to what happens to you, to your experiences, right? We can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it. So if this heartbreak happened, yes, but if you allow for it to tear you down, then that's a self-inflicted wound, in my opinion. Now, I think that it's imperative, JR, just how you took accountability for those moments that you have experienced, that you feel like it could have hurt you, or you should have been hurt, right? Those bad experiences that occurs. And I think that's important to acknowledge, because then once you go to the next person or to the next experience, you approach it differently. You learn from it much rather than repeating that cycle.
Yeah. I can understand what you're saying with that, Viz. Yeah. Yeah, it all starts with accountability, man. And I think people have disappointments. I think I've had some disappointments, you know.
I've definitely been
Yeah.
disappointed.
Yeah. I think you've been disappointed, but I
Yeah.
still think it's a little different, man. I mean, I just felt like I've controlled majority of the narrative. Like, and even if it was a little wiggle room, I still had 90% of that controlling the narrative. Like I was gonna be one to dictate what happens in this result. And so if I got irritated, then I'll just start doing irritating shit. And then I'll just force it away from me.
Yeah.
Or I'll go entertain other shit. It's just
something else too, and Law touched on this, and I think this really affects the divorce rate, like Trev said, is that we walk into relationships expecting for a person to be perfect.
Go ahead, Viz.
What'd you say?
No, I was my bad, man. Go ahead, Viz.
No, I'm just saying people typically walk into relationships expecting for that person to be perfect already. And it's like that's unrealistic. For one, you're not perfect. You yourself, you're not perfect. So to expect for another person to show up perfect, that's being disingenuous. You're already setting the relationship up for failure, because that's not how real life works. So I think again, if we remove those pieces from it, then man, we could see a blossom, a beautiful blossom of the marriage rate going back up and increasing, and people being happy and content with building families together. But we got to step away from the narrative of what we see and hear now, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's no perfect relationship. Nobody's perfect out here. And if you got something that's like Law said that you can tolerate, you might want to stay where you are, because once you get back here on the dating scene, you're gonna have a new set of problems. You may have 2 or 3 more, or you might have that one that you just really can't deal with. So if you got something that you can at least kind of function with, it's not too bad, don't feel like work every time you wake up in the morning, then stick with it. Because it is difficult to date. You will meet some people. I've met people that we talk about on the panel, and I've met people that you can wife up. Sometimes we don't want the people that we can wife up. Sometimes you want the people based off of visual. But it's kind of like choose your poison, man. It is some truth in what we're saying out here. You know, some people do overvalue themselves. It is difficult out here. But there's some wives out here. There's some wives. There definitely are some wives out here. I know for a fact, based off of my experience.
You found one? You found a wife? Look, y'all. I was gonna say
I found a wife, but I'm just saying that they out there. Like you come across women that are, but again, you got to kind of decide what it is that you want long term. And I do think a lot of red flags present themselves in the beginning, and a lot of men do ignore it. But listen to your gut. You know, if you're waking up and it feels like work every single day, it's not good for you. You should be able to wake up and you should naturally be able to be yourself. And a woman you could tell when a woman value you, because they will turn to you. They will look for you. They will ask you your opinion. And, you know, what do you think about this? Hey, I was thinking about this. They're going to include you in their world, and it's going to be natural. It's not going to be any work. If you feel like you got to prove yourself, or you feel like, you know, if she on another mission and that mission is not y'all, it's obvious. So don't force it. Relationships shouldn't be complicated. It's not it's simple. They're really simple. You got to have an open mind, somebody willing. Y'all can get through any and everything. Everybody ain't perfect. So if they got a little bit of kink in them, if they're willing to talk about it and acknowledge it, well, I never noticed I was doing that. Okay, well, this is what's doing. This is what I noticed. You know, I don't really like that. give her the choice to be able to make it, to see if she's gonna correct it. If she corrects it, then hey, it's not gonna change overnight. But if you see some effort, then at least it's something better than nothing. Y'all, you just gotta be able to read what's going on. Relationship is not hard. Sometimes we hard here though, and sometimes we just want when we want. We just deal with it. But just understand the consequences that come with it once you deal with somebody who you shouldn't have been dealing with. Maybe you might have got something you wanted from it, then hey, but this shit is really simple. It ain't really that damn hard. I've enjoyed it. I don't regret anything I've done. I don't regret nothing. Everything has shaped me to be who I am. If I can go back, certainly there's some things, but I ain't mad at it. It is what I just accept responsibility for whatever it is that I've done and encountered.
Facts.
Man, what's something that I noticed? I was talking to one of my homies, and she's having an event, right? And it's like a dating event, and bro, we were trying to sit and think of a bunch of single dudes, and it's like super difficult. But I could sit and think of 20 single women, but I know maybe 1 or 2 single dudes. What's that about?
Well, I had that same conversation, and there's single dudes out. Well, there's some single men out here, but they probably dealing with a few females, and so they're not.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not gonna want to be in an environment where.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So they just gonna stay away from.
So if that's the case, then how is it not easy to find a good woman?
No, you don't start on some bullshit, Biz.
I mean, that's keeping it a buck, right? If y'all just both said that we tried to figure out, we tried to think of some single guys, and I can only think of 1 or 2, but I know at least 10 single women. Where are these guys finding these women at?
See, if Biz trying to start a whole new show.
I mean, we gotta give folks the game, right? If that's the whole point of us being here, it's multiple men in the comments saying, well, all right, well, where do we find these women at?
It's relative. It's relative.
Well, if you in Chicago on February 15th, we got a speed dating joint going on. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all want to come on out, it's at a nice art gallery.
Shameless plug. I like that.
So it's some validity in this.
I'm gonna get my boy Gooch a plane ticket. He coming down to the shop. We're gonna find him one. Huh?
Well,
If
you look at the relationship podcast section, right? A lot it's women that's coming here to learn why you don't
You low, Marcus. Keep going.
Can y'all hear me now?
That's better.
Is it loud? Yeah. I was saying, if you look at the relationship podcast sector, that's why I brought up tonight's conversation. I know they're going through a whole lot of bullshit, but in person, it's close to 200 to 500 women, single most of the time, out of a breakup. Some of them been working on themselves, some of them have, but they're there in bulk trying to find out how to be better in relationships and trying to find out how God can send them a man or they can find a man. They are there specifically for that purpose. Advice on the current relationship they got, hang out with their friends, and to find a man or to figure out why they don't got a man. In those scenarios, I think your stock goes up because it's supply and demand. Whereas it might be harder for you to walk up to a woman in a coffee shop or go in a club where it's even odds. That shit is like 70-1 in them venues. So I think that they could be utilized effectively, and just go to just try out one.
There we go.
Go to speed dating, like Law talking about. Like at the event we did in person, it was some good looking women there, and I think some of them was single. They was hanging on every word, trying to figure out how they can. Matter of fact, one of the girls, I'm not gonna say her name, but she found out that men didn't like the way her IG presented her. She changed the IG in the middle of the show, trying to make sure she was appealing to the men that she would want. There are women out here trying. It's just maybe the vicinities we gotta find them in.
You know what do they say? the 20% loud be the worst ones. The what is it? The loud minority.
Yeah, the loud minority.
Yeah.
All right, if you guys gonna be in
So, yeah,
Chicago,
y'all-
this is the event right here, the speed dating with Kim Purdue and Angie D. Lee.
Yeah, man.
Laws be there. I think Law you hosting, right?
Yeah,
Right
you
there?
know, I know I'll be there. You know, I'm
Yeah.
helping my people out, man.
Yeah, so
Y'all
I
go
know
to
Law be there.
rlemusic.com and get your tickets. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's rlemusic.com, 1451 East 53rd Street. It's the Connect Art Gallery. It's high scale. It won't be no sexy reds in there and no, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be adult women in there, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So
Right
you
after
And
Valentine's
Angie,
Day.
yeah, right after
Angie,
Valentine's Day, February 15th.
Angie, the lady in the flyer, she she's an incredible, level-headed, smart, married woman. And I would just guess that if these women gonna be like of her ilk or from her, that's a gold mine right there. Like she exudes what it means to be a wife. You ever get around her, JR? You know who that is, right? Angie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Her and her husband, great couple. Yeah.
Peoples.
So yeah, good people, real good people.
All right, so it's no excuses, man.
Gucci, ready to get that plane ticket?
Hey, like I did a promo for it. I said if you ain't have a good time on February 14th, come on out February 15th. You know what I'm saying? To get you a date then. You know, we'll be in the building just trying to help facilitate the, you know what I'm saying, the good time, you know what I'm saying? And trying to put something together.
Yep.
I know that's right. Good stuff,
All right,
man.
gentlemen.
Good stuff.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in to King Talk. Catch us next Tuesday. Appreciate you, True. Thank you, Solo, as well, and all the gentlemen on the panel. Make sure you guys check these guys out, man, on IG. I've been trying to add everybody's IG who be on the show, so I'll work on that immediately after this. But a lot of guys got a lot of great things going on outside of here, whether it be YouTube channels, events, movies, shooting weddings, shooting films, barbecuing, recipes. They got some of everything out here. If you need some hooping tip, financial literacy. So just make sure y'all follow everybody, man. Let's support each other. That's what it's all about, man. You're not about tearing nobody down. We're about building up over here. So catch us next time and we out.